Welcome to the Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, I got David Braithwaite. David is a financial advisor, a BBC radio presenter, a conference speaker, an associate coach for strategic coach. We will be focusing a lot on, obviously, on finance because I like sometimes to talk about finance. We had a big podcast called Aggregators with Brands. So we had like 30 episodes of that. So there's quite a lot of material what we can talk about as well. And as well, strategic coaching, which I like as well. And every one of us needs strategic coaching. So David is as well the director and principal financial advisor of Citrus Financial Management Ltd. So David, before I try to explain what you're doing, please tell us a little bit more about yourself, and then let's take it from there.
Well, I'm based just outside London here in the UK, and I started off being a financial advisor because I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to do my own thing and be in control of my own destiny and not having a boss. And so I set up a financial services company with just me at the time. And what's happened is over the years, that was back in 1994, what's happened is that you get busier, you get bigger, the business grows. I've got a couple of other businesses which work alongside to do with sort of the legal profession and also to do with healthcare as well. And everything's just grown over those years, which has been a very exciting journey. And I can still remember 1994 when I first started, like it was yesterday. I think we all know where we were when we started off, and I look back on it with great memories, and you see how far that we as a business, but also how far us and we go as entrepreneurs as well in what we do. And I think we can often get carried away in looking at where we haven't got to and trying to hit higher and higher goals, but actually we know we need to pat ourselves on the back from time to time and see how far we've come. So it's been a really good, fun journey. And I have a partner and I have a 13-year-old son. So I now have a son who's become a teenager. So it's all good fun back here in the UK. And it's good. Life is good. Life's very good.
Oh, that's great to hear. So thanks for this introduction. So let's start and let's dive right into it. So let's begin with the financial side, because at the moment we have so many financial let's say challenges going on around the world, or are these challenges just made up and we don't really, or people really don't know where to invest or what to expect? So I am rather on the second side. So I think that we get fed a lot of things which makes us anxious, and there's not really things going on. And if you know what to do and if you know where to invest, you should be fine anyway. So what is your perception of all of this? I mean, you're in the UK right now. I know there is inflation is, we can see it every day when we do grocery or we need stuff. We go in with 20 pounds, we come out with nothing, and with a small bag of a few things like that. It's different than 10 years ago, obviously. But what do you think? This is in small, but in the big view, what do you think about that?
Well, here in the UK, people are feeling the pinch, it's fair to say. We've got several different factors at play. So we have got the cost of our food has gone up. We've also dealing with the ramifications of Brexit and the implications that brings with it. And also we have the high inflation largely driven as well by energy costs. So our energy bills here have gone really, really high. And unfortunately, what I find, and this is all around the world, the media have a really big part to play in all of this, because people consume media, and we can consume media 24/7 in lots of different formats. We no longer have to wait to buy the newspaper the next day. We can find out what's going on in the world through Twitter, through our websites, through anything. So we get information and we can consume it much faster. That's a good thing. But what I tend to find with the media, though, is that it's largely predicated on bad news. So people can I think, talk themselves into feeling worse about the way the economy is just because they read so many negative things about it. So to give you an example, in our reception in our office, we've got a big television where clients can come in and they wait to see us, and there's a big 65-inch television there, and we used to have BBC News Channel playing. We stopped that Because what we noticed was that clients were coming in to see us. They'd sit down and because they're waiting for their appointment, watch the television, and they would see cost of living crisis, cost of this is going up, markets going down. So before we even come and talk to them, they're already feeling gloomy before we get there. So we've changed that now, and we've put on nature programs instead. So when people come in, they got something relaxing to watch instead of looking at all the doom and gloom. So where it is as an economy, I think we're going to get better. I think here in the UK, we are going to largely avoid the recession, which is a good thing. But people are very wary and people are very scared about how much things might cost and the pound in their pocket not going quite as far as it was. But I think the media have a lot to play in making people feel scared, a little more anxious than maybe perhaps they should be.
Definitely, I agree completely with that. And it's interesting what you're saying, with the television. It's really interesting because you should at any cost avoid watching any of this stuff. It's
definitely.
And the really important news, they don't say it. For example, that right now the whole Eastern world will be dominating. I mean, what is going on, how it plays out, it's like that, and this is what is not shown to the public, and where they can invest and what they can do to be part of all of this growth over there. I mean, I can tell you because our company is headquartered in Dubai, and you know what is going on there. It's really amazing. And yesterday I seen a funny video with Trump. I'm not a supporter, I just sometimes I really like his mindset, and he has business-wise, obviously, you cannot say that he's bad, because he done something good in there. Yeah. So he said, when I come fly out of Dubai into any American airport, I feel like in a third world country. So they invested, actually, the US invested, I think it was like 5 trillion last year or in the last years into the Middle East. So they could have built their country 3 times with that money. So something is completely wrong there. So this was just an example of what I wanted to give in order to make people understand that, listen, there is something going on, but it's just not in that part of the world. It's on the other side. So this is from the financial standpoint, this is definitely a prosperous region to be, and very early in the infancy still.
And let's not forget, you do have some really good weather there in Dubai as well.
Oh yes. Definitely.
Whereas here in the UK, it's a lot of grey and cloud and rain a lot. So
yes. The weather is amazing as well. I personally like the summer months, because you can eat whatever you like and you just go jogging in the morning and then everything is fine.
Simple.
It's like, in the morning is 45 degrees, and if you can, obviously, if your heart rate is not too high, you go run around the house, not more than 20 minutes, and you're good to go for the day. That's one thing. In the colder regions, you have to run for 2 hours in order to get the same effect. So there's a lot of pros. Obviously, there is a lot of as well. I would not say negative. I would say challenging things. I try to cut negative out of my out of any words that I use. So yeah, this is for that side. For the financial world, recently there have been so many things going on. I mean, like all the banks, the news that we get from the banks is obviously very bad. But at the same time, when I look at e-commerce, because I have been on an episode with Hi Mac from Eva Guru, one of our strategic business partners. And speaking about the whole financial world of e-commerce, for example, BlackRock was implicated in loans. We talk about 12 billion in loans just to buy e-com businesses. So on the other hand, wow, this is something they buy left and right. Companies rise. There are 1,000 employees. There is not only one of these monster companies. There's a lot of them. So on that side, everything is fine. I mean, now obviously everyone is a little bit slowing down. But what is your take on that? And what do you think, like in the next years, how this specific industry will look like?
Well, I think e-commerce is definitely the future for a lot of people. And we're certainly noticing it here with Lots of people on our traditional high streets are closing down. People are moving more into online. It's becoming more normal. And I think also what accelerated that process was lockdown, when we had the pandemic, where people had no choice but to be at home. So people that were unlikely to use that sort of channel had to, and so adopted and formed that habit really, really quickly. It doesn't take long to form a different habit. So there's definitely a future in there. And it's like with all these things, as you're saying, it's about looking for the opportunities. It's about seeing what's out there and looking at other such things as social media, such as TikTok, for example, and the people that are on there talking about e-commerce and showing you how to do it. There has never been less of an excuse for people to want to set up their own business than now. The information is all out there, and there's several people that I follow, and they're saying, look, if anything you want to know about, there's a great resource you can go to. It's called Google. You just ask the question, and if you want to do your research and put the hours in to learn how to do something, it's all there. This podcast, you're who you've had on as previous guests, all you have to do is listen, and you have to put these things into action. Their opportunity is all there if you are prepared to do it. But what you can't do is spot the opportunity and say, why isn't it coming to me? You have to go out there and make those moves and make a difference. Otherwise, you're just a spectator. You have to be involved. You can't be half pregnant, as I would say. So you got to be fully involved.
No, it's true. It's true, because this is exactly why I did this podcast. I mean, obviously, in the first place, to help others, that they don't have to go the way themselves. They can just listen to other entrepreneurs and learn from them, and maybe avoid the mistakes that they have done. And personally, for me, it's like a mentorship. It's like everyone I'm speaking to, I'm learning, because I'm learning every day. I'm far from knowing something. I maybe know a little bit, in this world, but I'm always happy to understand, to learn, and to go further. And this is exactly what you're saying. If you search it, you will find definitely what you want.
And also the willingness of people to share without expecting something in return as well has never been, as in terms of that for a currency, is superb at the moment. So that the people that are out there willing to share their journeys, their experiences, what they've learned, the good, the bad, is superb. So it's out there. If you want to do it, you can make it happen. If not, well, it's down to you.
Definitely. Everything is to us. What we have done yesterday is the result where we are today. That's 100%. Very true. And now we come as well into the strategic coaching part, which I'm always interested in, because strategy, organization, let's say strategy I'm quite good in, but organization, it's always I'm running the company, okay, and Emily is the COO, so we cannot be good at everything. If I would be the COO, I most probably would sink the ship. I don't know, but it's different. So strategic coaching here is a very, very crucial point. Please tell us more about what you do in the strategic coaching business, and afterwards I come with a few questions, which I'm very interested in, and as well the audience.
Perfect. So let me tell you about my journey with Strategic Coach. I started the business, as I said, in 1994. And what I found was that as my business grew, so did the complexities that came with it. So suddenly you're taking on staff. You're trying to grow a business. You haven't got the same control that you thought you had. And what happened for me was that I thought that I was going to have to, if I wanted to earn twice as much money, let's say, I therefore have to work twice as hard. And you can't do that. You cannot keep doing that. So it's how do you actually scale up your business, but without coming at a price to you, your business, and indeed your personal life as well. So I discovered Strategic Coach in 2008, 2009, and it timed with me actually having, I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I've got a 13-year-old. So it's 13 years ago, I joined Strategic Coach program. And I wanted to join it because I needed to get freed up. I was having my baby, our son. So from that point of view, I needed to make sure that I was there for him. I didn't want to be this kind of absent father and not going to sports days and missing all the important stuff, because this is a once in a lifetime thing. Yeah,
it is.
So I joined the program, and what it did was it teaches you everything about business and how to run a business that they never taught you at school. because I found that I was just walking through running the business as a way I thought I should do, but actually it wasn't necessarily how it should be. But also the coaches that are there, that coach, it's coached by entrepreneurs to entrepreneurs. So it isn't somebody that's being coached to how to coach somebody. You know, I'm now a coach for Strategic Coach, but I run my own businesses. So I feel and have been through or are going through everything that the people in the room are also going through. So I'm sharing stories. So what it does is creates a community, if you like, a safe space where entrepreneurs can talk to other entrepreneurs. Because again, think about it, when you've got a team, you mentioned your team that you have there, if they've got a problem, who do they go to? Well, they can go to you. Well, who does the entrepreneur go to when they need support and help? And it's often very easy as an entrepreneur to say, oh, it's everything going great. You know, people meet you socially, or how's business? You know, oh, it's good, it's good. How really is your business? Are you frustrated with certain things? Could you actually use more free time? Do you want to spend more time with your family? Do you want to 10x your business if that's what you want to do, but without 10xing what it is that you're doing in it? It's how do you do that, and how do you build a business that becomes what I would call, and coach refer to as, a self-managing company. So how can you get to that point where you've got a company and not, as I found, I started as a company, but then quickly found that what I'd done is I got a job. I hadn't got a business, because a business technically is one that you want to walk away from. Other people can run it and do all the things that you're not so good at, or that you don't want to do anymore. And so the business grows, not necessarily with having you in it, doing everything all the time. So that's where Strategic Coach fitted in for me. So what happened for me was that I joined, and yeah, you take on a bit of a journey of discovery, to be honest, because there's lots of truths that come out. So what I found was, when I was doing it, I'd done all my hiring wrong. There was no process for hiring. It was just, if somebody came along and I kind of liked them, I took them on, which is great. But then also you make expensive mistakes when you do that. Oh, so yes. It's how do you do the proper hiring and recruiting? What about goal setting? What about how you think about things in your business much more efficiently than perhaps what you do now? How do you strategize around problems and solve them better? But also having that community of people that you can lean on, that you can be yourself in, that are all going through the same thing as you are. So it's been absolutely invaluable for me, and it's given me, I would say, a perfect work-life balance for me, and growing businesses that I never would have had before, but not at a sacrifice of not spending time with my family and working all the hours. I've actually got more free time than what I had before I started, and yet the business is bigger. So it works for me. And yeah, they invited me to be a coach some years ago. So now I coach for them, but I'm still running my businesses, and I'm coaching people so that they don't have to make the same mistakes that maybe I did early on as well. So it's been a real adventure, a proper ride. It's been good fun.
I can imagine. And from what you're saying, you must do something right, especially time management, because when you run your business and you run a coaching business, and obviously have one-to-one calls and maybe group calls and material which you have to prepare, and all that, obviously you have as well a team, but all that stuff is, you definitely need a lot of time. You need to be very your schedule needs to be needs to look very good, and everything needs to be set up in place. The leads need to come in. Maybe you work on referrals. I'm not sure about that, but everything needs to be set up 100%. I mean, wow, this is definitely something I really like, you know.
It does, and so the first thing is, so that I've been in the program now since 2009, and what you do in the first year is all about you. It is about sorting out that time, because if we can't sort you out and the way that you run your business and the time that you're spending in various tasks in it, then everything else won't work. So the first year is all about you. Then we look at things like in the second year, what it is that you do and how you do it, and the value that you create and the people around you. So you're building up all the time and learning about how you can create this self-managing company, which sounds, for a lot of people that are listening now, and when I was joining the program, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You don't know what sort of mess that I'm in. You don't know what my working day looks like. And you start putting up But there is another way. There is another way. But it comes back to what we said earlier in the podcast as well, is that if people want to do things and make a difference, whether it's create their own business or indeed get more strategic about the business that they have, it involves effort. It involves a change. But you have to change, otherwise you're just going to get what you've already had. You know, everyone knows that expression already,
Yes.
but it does involve a bit of effort from you and a willingness to actually go through that. And if you like, a surrender and going, hey, you know, I do need some help and support. This isn't quite what I signed up for myself, and I want to get a different direction. But that direction comes with change and a bit of pain, but a bit of pleasure as well. And it's just trying to get more structured and focused about where you're heading by having that coach to you. And if you go to the gym, you're going to be far more. We spoke about running earlier on, about how you can run in Dubai and it's more efficient than running in cold weather. But if you're going to go to the gym, you're probably going to have far better, greater results if you had a personal trainer. You know, so you get coached on things like that. But often people have businesses, but no one's coached them as to how to have a business. And yet this is the thing that you're going to spend an awful lot of your time in, and a lot of your world and your life revolves around. So it just makes sense to get somebody to help you and to coach you around those points, just so that you've got that balance right and you are heading in the right direction and the ladder's not against the wrong wall, you know? So it's all very well climbing it, but how do you know when you get there, you don't get to the top and think, done that wrong. I could have done it better. So it's just about having that coaching and somebody with their arm around you, sort of helping you through it. And it's great, you know, the community that we have and the groups that we're in. It's really powerful.
What is the name of your of the coaching group or of the organization you're maybe you can elaborate on that and as well give us the details how to maybe get in contact with them.
Certainly. So I have my own landing page that they've made me, actually. So davidbpodcast.com. So it's David
I'll put it down there.
Podcast.com. If they click on there, what they can do is they can actually have a look. There's some tools and guides that I've put up there that people can download for free. There's a goal tracker workbook that they can use. There's a positive focus guide. There's an impact filter tool, how they can use that. There's various resources so they can get in and have a look at Strategic Coach through that. So yes, davidbpodcast.com, and they can download a load of materials in there and have a look and see what they think. But that's who I do my work for as well. So yeah, they can go and check it out there.
Great. Do you have like, I don't know, three tips or life hacks what you can share with us right now for the audience?
Certainly. I would say when it comes to business, I heard this great expression. I never understood it at the time, but it makes sense now. Sometimes you've got to slow down to go faster. So what I mean is that the first thing is you've got to slow down. Take time to plan your business. You know, when you first set your business up, you may have had a business plan. You did all the work and all the due diligence to set it up. But then how often do you actually revisit that? Or are you just on a treadmill that's getting faster and you never stop to just take stock of where you are? So that's the first thing. Slow down to go faster. Second thing I would say is have goals. Where are you heading? It's all very well to be building a business, but what's your why? Why are you actually doing it in the first place? And where is it that you're actually heading? Then when you know where you're heading, then you can think about where it is that you want to go. And the last thing is that we touched on at the beginning of this, be careful what you consume. So there's books out there that you can read that can help you with business. There's videos, there's YouTubes, there's podcasts like this. Be careful what you consume. So to make sure that what you're doing is leading you and actually making you go in the right direction. There's a great book that I read and it's called Will It Make the Boat Go Faster? And it was about an Olympic rowing team, and everything that they did during their training was questioned with, if we do this, will it make our boat go faster? And think about the same with your business. If what you're doing in your business right now, is it making your business go faster? If it isn't, stop doing it. If it is, do more of it. So just be careful about what the company is that you keep and what you consume, and just check that it's making your business go faster.
That's a really great advice. You know, thank you so much for that. It's really a pleasure speaking with you and getting that advice.
It's been great talking to you as well.
It's you know, for me, like I said, I'm learning from everything, and I'm sure, you know, because especially the type of business I'm in, like an agency, or for example, the audience which is listening, Amazon sellers or bigger Amazon sellers, we all have the same challenge. It's to be very how can I say, like in COVID, we were very like closed We only had contact with Zoom, and some people don't really like to have any conversation or any contact with others. So they go they're very introverted afterwards, and they cannot understand the strategy where they should go. And it's not enough to read books or to watch some YouTube videos. Really, you need somebody to talk to. You need somebody to guide you. And this is definitely, in our times, David, I think it's a brilliant idea what you have done, and you have proven that it works very, very well with numerous people, because the time frame you're doing this, you cannot just say, yeah, David did this for a year. I thought like, oh, I don't like financial anymore. Let's do something else. This is something proven here. We're really looking at somebody who can really help and understand entrepreneurs, because he has been there and he has done it. And yeah, this is definitely somebody you should reach out to. And if you have any questions, let me know. Let David know. We're here for you. Thank you so much, David. This was definitely amazing.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure and a joy to have a chat with you, and stay positive and go out there and go and smash it.